All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the team call. Okay, so October, we have a bunch to cover. I'm not going to take much time right now. I'm going to pass it right off to Nina because she has some team news for October that she wants to cover. That's going to be very beneficial to everybody. So, Nina, pass it right to you. If you
Okay, I'm just actually going to go in order of like sort of date order, and then what I'll do is I'll make this a post after the call. So if anybody misses the dates, so the first one right now we're in October, and if you haven't heard, corporate has released it is Beat Your Best Month. So you are looking to step it up in October. We have a release. The idea is to beat your best month ever, even just by 1 point. It's also points and volume. There are 3 levels of awards for that, and it's FAQ 2775. So you can go on and look up more details about that. But we want to see everybody beating their best. I think we could all agree that we could beat September just in our own minds. We're gonna step it up this month because last month I know was hard for across the network. Next is in date order. Our next team call after tonight, our next 8:30 Monday night team call will be October 21st, which is in 2 Mondays from now. And our team-wide open house is going to be on Thursday, October 24th. So we're going to talk about, like, before then, we'll put together a format. I think obviously the Facebook groups are working well, sending the video out ahead of time. And then we'll talk about, like, who's going to be the lineup to talk. And we'll take, obviously, volunteers for who wants to get in on that. But we certainly should be inviting. Also, right now, today was the first day beginning the test group for the work. And here's the thing, guys, like, even if you're not personally doing it, you have to be in there. I'll post this as well. There's a schedule of corporate training. Literally every day there's corporate training. And Amala is coming on every single day to also give his input. So if you're not currently doing it, the idea is you will be at some point, or you will be talking and trying to sign people up to do it. So you want to get firsthand information from corporate for the training. You want to get Amala's input, and you want to act like you're working with him one-on-one, obviously, when you're talking about this program. And so this is a huge opportunity. So get into that group. You should have purchased it, obviously, to get into there. You just have to provide your number, but get into that group. And I'll post the schedule for all the trainings, but clearly they're all going to be posted there anyway. Next is November, already thinking ahead to November, Super Saturday. So October is going to come to like a really quick close. We have like Halloween at the end and all that, and then Super Saturday hits, and that's the weekend of November 2nd and 3rd. Philly sold out real quickly because Autumn was announced very early. Philly is on Sunday the 3rd. I know if you get into Philly Fusion and Facebook, Dave is he's already having a ticket swap. So, there's a lot of times last minute coaches can't make it. So you can get that ticket and work out, maybe with Autumn and get to Philly. There are a handful of us who currently have tickets to go to New York. That is on the 2nd. That is actually on the Saturday. Amala will be there, and the VIP tickets were still available. I mean, he's like I figured this is like getting to meet Shaun T when he released like the original Insanity. Like, people are like, yeah, Shaun T, like, you know what I mean? He's new, whatever. But like, where did he go? You know what I'm saying? So I wish that I had met him early on. So the difference between the prices too are like $20 to $25 for the VIP. So it's totally worth the extra to pick that up. And he's going to be there early, so you can take the pictures with him early, and then the rest of Super Saturday takes place. So it's going to be an early day. So if you're worried about the travel, you get up there early, you'll beat everything into the city. It's actually in Queens, so you go straight through, kind of by, where do we say it was? Sort of like by Met Stadium area. But anyway, so there's a few of us going. If you want to jump in, maybe we can work together to carpool. Sorry, I'm talking really fast, but I know we have a lot to get to. The next is, once we are done with the release here and the 6 weeks of the work, and many of you will be finishing up your morning meltdown at early November, we are looking to run a team-wide The Work, which will take people from mid-November through the end of the year. We're talking about, like, don't wait for results till January. You know what the holidays bring. This is 5 days a week, optional 6 for workouts. There are rests, and it's pretty kick-ass, right? So it's going to ward off probably bad holiday habits. But anyway, so we're going to run that starting November 11th is going to be the team-wide The Work. Did I get everything? Oh, and real quick, also going on right now, Michael posted today, if you didn't see this, is, and it's tonight too. So you're here, you're Dare to Dream, and then the first Power Hour with Ruth Schroner, which is like power hour if you're doing it with Ruth Schroner, I'm sure, right? That is at 9:30 tonight Eastern, so you can get in on that. If you are not in our areas, because of course I'm talking like we're here, a lot of us in New Jersey and New York, but we have our team all over the place. Super Saturdays, you simply log in to your Coach Online office, search this support, FAQs, find out where there is a Super Saturday local to you, because engaging and being part of these events is part of our job, but they also bring a lot of energy to what we're doing. So that's a good way to find out what the push is for the rest of the year. Sometimes, obviously, they're making announcements for things for the start of the year as well, because I don't think the next Super Saturday will probably be until February. So I think that's it. Again, I'll post sort of like a checkpoint checklist of all this stuff, but we wanted just to catch up. And if you guys have any input or questions, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you. Before we pass it over and ask Melissa a couple of questions, I just want to go over what I was going to talk about, which is just the new coach training. If you guys, if you're not familiar with it or you've not shared it with your team, because maybe they didn't see it, this is, to me, like, this is awesome. Like, simplify everything is always been my thing, is like, keep it as simple as possible. And we definitely have gone deep into the weeds on some certain things, because like the more you know, the more you want to share and the more you want to get out there. But the new coach training, I'm going to share my screen real quick. This will be in its own unit in this team page, but I want to show you where it is so you know where to direct, your coaches. I'm sure you guys, if you haven't seen it, do it. It's like 23 minutes start to finish with all the videos. So the point here is for new coaches to get started right away in their first month, within their first 2 months. And they can do that without going through long-winded training. You can certainly have that for the coach who's ready to go on to the next thing, but they can take action right away. So they spent a lot of time on this to come up with like the most simple, compact, bang for the buck, if you will. So here is our coach office. And if you go to training, you'll see there is these 4 tabs. I've recently been posting the compensation training, which is all new as well. So this is all this is new, and it's been significantly changed. Okay, no more first 30, first 30 minutes, first 30 hours, first 30 days. So when you go to getting started in training, the first thing you go to is you're going to see these 5 videos. And it walks you through everything you need to get going in less than 30 minutes. Like, after you watch this, you should be able to take action in your business. So that's the goal. So these 5 videos will be in unit 1, and they'll be obviously in your coach office, but will be compact in the team page. And then let me just go back. No, it's just spinning. Okay. Okay. And then obviously you have the compensation plan. I'm not going to go through all these right now, but just so you see, obviously our vital, this is where it gets into some more of the stuff that we're already familiar with, but these videos have been redone, and I think it's extremely, extremely helpful for a new coach and for you as the coach trying to get someone to get started right. What the heck did I do?
Minimize. X that out. Look. No. Look.
Right.
No, don't it go.
Yeah.
Get out. X.
There we go. You still have me? You still see me? Sorry. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so let's move on. That's the new coach training. Letting your coaches know, like whatever you're doing with your coaches, just make sure it's simple and direct. And I think this is just stop trying to figure everything out and start failing forward and doing actions, and learn as you go. And I think that's the message has to be like over and over drilled upon. So tonight, our guest here is Melissa Grimm. She's going to let us all know all the secrets because apparently she has them all. So I'm going to unmute you and just, Melissa, first of all, just introduce yourself and why did you become a coach, and just give us a general idea of who you are, where you're from.
Well, I'm a mom of 3 from Long Island, New York. And I decided to get back into coaching. I was a previous coach on another team. I made it to Emerald, but I sort of just sat there for a long time. I didn't have the great training, and my coach sort of just disappeared. And, every time I would text her or try to message her, she was never around. So I feel like I just didn't get that good, connection with her. I entered my first bikini competition. I took a year off. I needed that strict coaching and, getting my eating all together, which was craziness. But I miss Beachbody. I really miss the workouts. I missed my Shakeology. I was talking to my husband. I said, I really want to get back on all that. And he said, yeah, sure. And I was happy to find you guys. And I know you guys are such a strong and great team and everything. So I reached out to Mike and I said, I want to, sign up again and get Beachbody and get bod. So, yeah. And I'm just happy to be back. And,
It's pretty good. Yeah, no, I just wanted to just kind of introduce yourself to everyone and how you got here. So I had a couple questions for you that I wanted to go over, and let me just get to my little notes here. Okay, so where are they? There we go. So how did you hit the ground running? Like, how did you come out? Why was it different this time you came out of the gates? Did you have goals in mind that you wanted to hit? What was your trigger this time that made you take action?
Well, it was the team. It was you. It was, that push I needed that I didn't get on my other team I was on. I really wanted to, fitness was my passion, and I loved working out, and I'm like trying to find a job around that and I was trying to get into maybe become a trainer and do all that. And that was just so expensive. And I'm like, let me just try to get this business working. Let me get the coaching and, the materials I need to be successful this time. And, and I did it. And I had other coaches that and teammates that I signed up on my last team. And I said, let me grab those people back. They'll come to me. And I did. And, I signed my husband up. And then I signed my good friend up. And then I had other people that were following me and doing, the workouts with me in the past. And I messaged them and I said, listen, I'm back with Beachbody again. Would you like to sign up? Would you like to join my team? And they said, yeah, great. Of course. So I got a lot of my coaches that way.
So Melissa, do you do most of your, is it private message? How are you communicating with them, and what is your approach?
Yeah, I do private messaging, but I'm sort of like old school. Like I take it to, I send out like information. I message a lot of people, but I don't get deep with it. I tell them to call me, or I call them. And I feel that's just been so successful for me. Like taking the time out of your day and showing somebody that you want to talk to them. I just feel it just works so much better than constantly messaging, because, texting and messaging, things get lost. And when you're talking to somebody, you get to know them. Like I met this girl that lives in Virginia, and I just met her on Instagram, and she's like, she's a mom, she's divorced, and I just got to know her, and she's like telling me things about her. I'm telling her things about me, and I don't even know this girl. And we just connected, and, she's so interested in, maybe, getting involved in the business. And we just had a good, we just it's developing relationships with people. You want to show them that you're just not trying to sell them something. You want to get to know them. You want to talk to them.
Melissa, how did you make the connection though? Did you reach out to her? Did she reach out to you? Was she like, what was, how did most of the conversation start?
Yeah, I messaged her. We were going back and forth. And I just was at the point where I'm like, I'm not getting my point across to her in a message, that's just not like I'm not good with I'm better with talking to somebody. So I just told her, I said, hey, would you mind giving me a call? I would love to go over more of this about you. I just, and she's like, yeah, give me a call. So she gave me her number and I called her and, we just hit it off and I just feel that's been working for me. I feel just calling people and reaching out. Not always. I've gotten some, coaches and customers by messaging, but majority of it's been me actually talking to them and getting to know them.
So the initial was through a story or like how'd you first send?
Well, she messaged me. She said, wow, you're a mom of 3. You look great. I've been following your journey for a while. Then I started following her. And then she's like, can you give me some more information about what you're doing, and the workouts? So I said, yeah, sure. I was telling her, how long I've been, doing Beachbody home workouts, how I love it, how it's helped me get my body back after having my kids. And, I get into like that, but then I automatically say, can I just give you I just love talking to somebody on the phone. I feel it sets the sailing, it just gets them to really open up to you. She's not going to tell me all her business in a message. I feel like I can open up to her more and get to know her more,
All right. That's interesting because I do not have phone call conversations with people. And I think that's it just goes to show you that there's more than one way to connect and to do this. So if you're not,
I've tried the message thing in the past and I feel like I've gotten so many I'll let you know. I'm going to talk to my husband about it. And, I've done that. So I know it just doesn't always work is what I'm saying. Yeah. So you have to take another approach at it, and showing somebody that you care enough about, calling them and telling them, how much you love something, how much it's worked for you, really shows them like, hey, she took the time to call me, she's a busy mom too. She's been doing these workouts for many years. Obviously it's working for her. I feel like it works better for me that way.
And, the one thing I will say is you show up every day.
Well, they say that too. And I've been getting a lot of customers through Instagram than I do Facebook, which is weird because you think you have family and friends more on Facebook than you do Instagram. But I've had people that just reach out to me and said, I'm so happy you're back with Beachbody. I've been following your journey for so long. And they do ask me did you take time off? I know you were doing a bikini. And I tell them straight up, yeah, I took a year off. I wasn't happy on my previous team. I joined a great team now and, been very successful and.
Good. What else do I have? Your follow-up process. So it sounds like the follow-up is really the conversation on the phone.
Yeah, I don't really have that many follow-ups because I take the time to call them. So I sort of, my follow-up I don't need a follow-up.
Right. That's what
I do message people and, I don't always talk to everybody, but, my follow-up is just usually, hey, I know this can be overwhelming. Would you mind if I gave you a call? Can we further discuss this on the phone? And that's what usually, seals the deal with people.
Okay. Okay. So do you have this time, it sounds like you have specific goals this time that you're trying to hit. And
well, yeah, this time I'm, really going at it. I joined a Diamond Push group that's really been fantastic, giving me a lot of ideas on how to get my coaches to Diamond and, and I just, I'm going at it full force now because I just, I love it. I'm getting all the support, the motivation has been excellent this time. So I feel that that's why I've been so successful.
I know your Instagram is, it's fitness based. And I know that there's so many different ways of doing, your Instagram and your Facebook. I guess you do more family stuff there. as well. But like, so you're very consistent with like your message is fitness. And I think there's like something to be learned from that. It doesn't have to be that way, but it could be anything. Like you can have like, I don't know, a balloon fetish. And like, it could be like the balloon, like it doesn't matter what the thing is. It just matters that you're consistent with it and the message. And I think that, that you do. Does anyone have questions before I get too deep into this? Let's see. Let me just read the chat real quick. Okay, so Megan on the chat, she's saying that do you say anything special to close on the phone, and do you end your conversation? How do you end your conversations?
Convert.
To convert. Oh, to convert. Okay.
Convert.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I usually just, I get them to do because I'm telling them exactly what they're going to get. I feel like when you write them everything, they're still not processing it. I mean, some will, but some won't. And I feel like I've lost a few people when I just was messaging back and forth because things can get confusing. They're not understanding exactly what you're trying to put across sometimes. And they're just looking at, well, how much is this going to be? How much is that going to be? How much am I going to get that? Like, I feel like they just get so overwhelmed. So I just like talking to them and telling them exactly what they're going to get, what I'm going to provide for them, how great my team is, how successful they'll be, how much support and motivation they're going to get. And that usually gets them to say, okay, what do I need to do? What's the next step?
Now, how do you handle the coach customer conversation? Do you have that? Do you just send them a coach share a cart? Like, what's your process?
I do the share a cart. I tell them the benefits of being a coach. That's another thing. I feel it's great talking to somebody about that,
right? Because,
once you start mentioning coach, and I just feel it tends to get a little bit too salient, and people get overwhelmed with the word coach. For some reason, that word just like makes people say goodbye. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. And I rather just tell them everything that they will get, straight up. They know exactly. I'll let them, how my team is, how I run my, how I run my team, what the support they're going to get. I just feel it just always gets them. It's just easier to discuss everything.
Yeah, I'm big on talking about the team and what is offered.
Yeah.
To them, and I think that's a huge part.
The discounts, everything. It's just, I feel like when you're saying it to them, it just means more, instead of just writing it out sometimes. I mean, listen, there's probably coaches out there that write amazing and they can get all these, coaches, customers, I'm just not good at the writing part as I am as, talking to someone directly.
How many, just real quick how many conversations, I mean, I know there's not how many back and forths or connections? You're obviously making a fitness connection, or you're making, like, what are the connections? Give us a general idea, like, and how long are you going before you're like, I want to jump on the phone with you?
Oh, like,
I think that's
like writing,
people out, like
messaging?
Yeah.
Well, like girl last night, I was going back and forth with her. I don't know her. She's been following me. We were just going back and forth, and I was writing some really good things to her, and she was definitely interested. And then she sort of got quiet after she asked me what the price was, and that's usually what happens. So, I right then and there, I stopped. I said, listen, I said, I would love to continue this conversation with you. I said, would you reach out and give me a call? She lives in Canada. So she said, yeah. So we're hopefully setting that up tomorrow. She was busy today, but this has been so successful for me. So I'm just not, that's what I want to celebrate tonight. Like, just really take that minute to just talk to somebody, don't give up, don't be like, oh, I'm not going to get this deal right. Don't just throw it out right away. Just say, listen, can you give me like 10, 15 minutes of your time, and you'll be surprised. People will be like, wow, yeah, definitely. I'll call you.
So do you have a hard time limit on that? Like 10, like, cause you can end up talking for an hour and a half.
Oh, I know. I can talk forever. I got that from my mother. I mean, once I get to know somebody, I could just,
right.
You just
and then
develop that.
And you're flying to Canada.
But I like that also, because
crazy.
if you're going to sign up a coach, you want to know about them. You don't just want to sign them up on a piece of, you just want to send them an email and say, yeah, join my freaking team. And then I want to know each and every one who is, I want to know my coaches. Because that's the only way they're going to be successful, is that if you're taking the time out to get to know them. So, that's why I do it, because I don't want to just make them feel like they're just, nobody, you know, like I want them to know that they mean something signing up with me, that I'm going to help them be successful.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat for Melissa. Like, I think this is, I don't dislike talking to people on the phone, but I need to get better at it. I think, not that I'm not good at it, just, I don't know.
Well, you're good at writing. Like, I see some people just good at writing and can get all that out, and just word it perfectly. That's not what I'm good at. I'm better off explaining it to them verbally than.
Right. Now, this is why I want you on.
That's why I'm saying, like, there's some coaches out there that might be stuck with that. Their writing might not be getting, making success, just getting customers and signing coaches because they're just not, writing is their strength, So I'm saying, here's another approach you can take.
And it's also a different approach because everything you see right now is text.
Everything right now is text. And you know what? This is how fights happen, through texting and people not understanding.
That's right.
I mean, I'm telling my daughter, call your girlfriend up and talk to her.
Right.
Don't text her because people take things the wrong way, So, that's another thing. It's just everybody should go back to calling people and,
Well, I might be, when I'm inviting people to coaching, I actually might be telling them that I hate their guts for all. I don't even know. Like, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. Anyway, do you guys have, okay, Kate started calling people. Okay, yeah, so Kate started calling people too. Okay, that's very interesting. I'm definitely going to, adjust your sales. Do sales, like the sales, not like your sales. Do something different. If it isn't working for you, make a change and try something different. That's the whole premise of this building. A business is doing something, changing with the tides and making an adjustment. We have like 2 minutes and we have the other call. So if you guys have anything, by all means, just, unmute yourself or, there's no magic secret. It's doing the work. I think the interesting thing was that, Melissa.
It's also just being yourself too. Don't, there's no need to copy anybody. People you can see fake, you have to just be genuine. You have to be yourself. If you're going to go into, this trying to be like somebody, it's not going to work. That's what I'm myself. I'm myself in my stories. I curse sometimes. It's just how I am. I'm just me. And people like that. I get messages. Oh my God, I love your style. I love how you are. I love, tell me more about this. I want to know about that. I've been following you for so long, so.
That would be like a whole nother call.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get you on again. So, there's always something to learn, right? So it's so helpful. All right. Well, that's all I have. If anybody else has anything, they can always put it underneath this video when we post it, so that either Melissa or someone else can jump on and ask questions. But thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Super, super helpful. So, all right, guys, we'll see you on the Dare to Dream call. As always, be the best you, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks back on this call. See you.
Thanks, guys.